Hello there, Kevin the Comic Doctor coming to you with another edition of What's in the Press. That's right, the show where I outline all the crazy books that I'm working on week after week after week. Books are submitted by you, or many of you, my clients. And you know what? I wasn't going to do a What's in the Press this week, but I have some room and I have a really big order from James, and I wanted to come up here and showcase some of James's books to you all because there are some really sweet books in here, and I think you're really going to enjoy that. But before I get there, my friends, hey, have you heard? There's a new show coming out on Disney Plus called Moon Knight. That's right, my friends, your favorite, one of my all-time favorite superheroes in the Marvel Universe. I'm sure he's the favorite of many of you as well. To celebrate this new show, well, you know, I'm giving out some Moon Knight books. That's right. So these three babies here, when March the 30th rolls around, I'll be giving out some awesome Moon Knight books. So be sure to subscribe, like, and leave comments for your chance to win one of these awesome vintage Moon Knight books. And who knows, there might be some other goodies up for grabs at that time as well. In fact, I think I'm going to start having, like, you know, bi-weekly prizes. Gotta pick up some cool prizes first, and then we'll go there, you know, guys, and then we'll go there as well. But anyways, again, thank you for showing up. Again, this is a very big order. This one is going to keep me busy for the rest of this week, and I'm still finishing up a few other smaller orders, and a huge 2 boxes went off to CGC yesterday. They should be arriving there on probably Monday, realistically. You never know. They could get there by Friday, but I think by Monday. Anyways, here we go for an impromptu What's in the Press. Let me go to a bigger screen and we will start showing off some of these great books that James has given to us. So first off, we have a copy of, well, it was right in the thumbnail there, a copy of Thor, Journey to Mystery, Annual Number 1. Now this one here is just the regular old, you know, normal copy. There is a Canadian variant of this, and I'll show it to you in just one second. I think there's another copy in that box, but this one here is a really amazing book that's been heating up. I think James wants to try cracking it and cleaning her up and sending it in for a regrade. So I will take a closer look at this book and see if it's worth doing or not. I had a quick look at the shop when he dropped the books off a couple weeks back, but certainly I want to look at it closer. Wait a second, Kevin. A couple weeks back, how on earth are you getting to his book so quickly? Well, James actually put in a submission form like 4 months ago. That's right. So James's submission form for this entire box came in, I think at the end, in the fall. I think it was the fall. And he was just holding off until I said, James, bring them on in. And he did. And you can do that too. So if you want to reserve your spot in my queue, the best way to do that is to go over to comicdoctor.com and fill out a submission form. By doing so, you reserve yourself a spot in my queue. And you know what? If a couple months go by or a few months go by and you decide to change the books or not send the books at all, there's no obligation, my friends. You just keep your books and we move on. All right, so that's the first book. Let's have a look at some other books that James has submitted. Again, some really nice books in here. Tomb of Dracula number 1. I'll skip some of these books, I think, because there's a lot in here, but I'll pick some of the nicer ones. The Tomb of Dracula is at 18. 18. Here's a cool Legend of Zelda, number 1. I'm going to move over a little bit so I'm more square on the screen there. There we go. That might be a little bit better. Let's fix the box a little bit. There we are. Union Jack, Invaders number 8. Back to the Moon Knight. We got a Moon Knight 001 modern book. Everyone's jumping on that Moon Knight bandwagon. What else? Again, here's another Moon Knight Punisher book right here. We got a Fantastic Four number 94. That's an awesome looking cover. And we have, well, a really nice copy. Yes, a really nice copy of Amazing Spider-Man 194. And these books are nice copies. James is a stickler for nice grades. And I'm looking at these books right now, and they need work, but they're pretty books. They're pretty books. And, you know, a submission is never complete. In my opinion, my friends, and if you've been watching this show for any length of time, you know that no submission is complete without a copy of this book right here. Can you guess it? Can you guess it? That's right. Amazing Spider-Man 361. Nice copy of, his books want to flop over. Sandman #1. He's got a couple of copies of that. Couple of copies of Sandman #4 as well. And I know this was an impromptu What's in the Press, a late night What's in the Press. I don't usually do this show at like 10 o'clock at night. I wasn't going to, but I had a few moments. I said, you know what? It's probably a good time to do it. So I don't imagine we're going to get a lot of people coming on here tonight, but that's okay. They can watch it on the fly later on. But I'll go over the chat and see who is here, because you never know. Sometimes doing a show this late, you'll bring in other people from other parts of the globe. We got to know. Look at this. Conan the Barbarian #1, one of my favorite covers of all time, right there. Some Barry Windsor Smith. What else we got? You like your Daredevil? You like your vintage Daredevil? How about this? How about a copy of Daredevil #2? #4. Whoops, #4 right there. Notice how my light, when I cover the light, that is something I've got to fix. How the light keeps going. I think it's the ISO. It's changing really quickly, so I'm going to fix that at some point as well. Or I need a bright light right coming this way. My light's coming to the sides. That's probably why that's doing that. How about a copy of Daredevil #16? Pretty popular ASM crossover. Another Journey into Mist. A Thor 151 with a destroyer on the front cover. That's pretty cool too. Now, this is the one, guys. Now I showed you, and I'll do a comparison here because a lot of you guys might not know about this. This is kind of cool. I showed you his. I better make sure first, but I'm pretty sure this is a Canadian variant of this book. Let's see. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay. So, Journey to Mystery Annual 1. It's the first appearance of Hercules. And as you can see, normal book, normal enough, right? You turn it around, you have your ad pages on the back. That's great. Did you know? Right, now check this out. Same book, right there, huh? Now watch this. Same book, right? Until no ad page. No ad pages on the inside either. At all. On the back cover is blank as well, as you can see, right there. So, yeah, they had a Canadian variant of this book. And I believe one of my other clients, Chris R., who sometimes watches the show, I did one for him, and I believe it came back very high. One of the highest on the CGC census. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was a 9.4. It was a beautiful book. Now, of course, James wanted to fix this problem, as you can all probably see when I zoom in here. Notice all those date stamps, as someone kind of went crazy with the date stamp machine. Unfortunately, dry cleaning is not going to get rid of that. In fact, I don't think any type of cleaning will get rid of that. So at least we know it was stamped on June the 7th, 9th. I know what some kid was doing on June 7th, 1965. A real shame. It's not a bad copy, but I'll make it nicer, and we'll send it and see what happens. It's gonna get dinged, of course, because of those date stamps. But nonetheless, a gorgeous book. And now you know the difference between the Canadian variant and the American version. Now, I also believe that Marvel also put out, I think it's Fantastic Four Annual, is it 2? The one with Dr. Doom on the front cover. That one also has no ad page. And there's another copy of another annual. If you guys know what those are, put them in the chat or in the comment section below. What other vintage annual has no ad, in the Canadian version, has no ad page on the back inside cover, or the inside cover, the front cover as well? Which other books have that? I believe it's FF Annual #2, I believe, and it's that Journey to Mystery Annual #1. It could be. I don't think it's. Yeah, it's Annual #2 for sure. It's not #1, because the first FF Annual has Loki on the front cover. The one I'm talking about has Dr. Doom on the front cover. Okay, let's keep moving here. We have, of course, we have a couple of copies of Thor 337. Got one there. And that's a Canadian price variant. We have another one right here. So, oh, come on. Two of them right there. Nice books. These ones always tend to press out really nice too. I'm going to fix these books up, but they keep wanting to fall over. Let me just kind of get in here. And that should be better. Okay. Lovely copy of Wolverine #1. Gotta love that. What else do we have? What's cool? What can I show you? Oh, yeah, you're going to like this one. X-Men #58. Nice Neil Adams cover with Havoc. And, of course, we've got X-Men. We've got quite a few X-Men here. You're going to like this, guys. We've got X-Men #95. I think these books will be for sale when they come back. So you want to keep your eye on my unboxings. When these guys come back, I think James will be selling these. And I'm not sure. Is it a 30-cent? Is that a 30-cent price variant? I think it might very well be. And they just fell over again. Well, they just moved over again. Let me just put these all back. I feel like I should have stacked these out. We have got an X-Men #123 as well. If you're just getting here, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, that'd be fantastic. Really helps with my analytics. When people are looking for comic book content, YouTube will send them my way, our way. X-Men #126. Here's a biggie right here. X-Men 129 with the first Kitty Pryde. What other ones we got? X-Men 134. I'm skipping a few, taking out some of the nicer ones, or ones that just kind of stand out to me. Do a couple more, then I'll go to the chat room. We got about 23 people in the chat room. Let's see who's here. We got a nice Phoenix cover in X-Men 135. And finally, X-Men 212. Been seeing this one come in now. All the Wolverine covers are starting to pop in. I wonder why that is. Are people speculating that Wolverine's going to show up in Multiverse of Madness? I got a feeling they are. Let's go to the chat window. People are here. Not a lot of people. A few people are here. Let's go see who's here on this late Wednesday night. All right. We have HM is here. How you doing, HM? And James, you're here from Richmond. These are the real Hyperion's books. Wayne, hey Doc, when are James books submitted from? I explained that already. 3B Man, how you doing? Luke, how's it going? Eric Williams, thanks Kevin for looking at the pics I sent yesterday and giving some great fingerprint feedback. You're the best, and I'm hoping to get you some books this year that you can work your magic on. Eric, when you're ready, happy to help and always happy to give advice, when I can. Good pictures always helps. Yeah, Wayne, these are actually from before yours. I can tell you right now. These are actually I had a quick look when I look out to the left or to the right. They are from, I believe, August the 18th. But James only got these books to me 2 weeks ago. He was still, I think some were still coming in. He wasn't ready to submit them just yet. Big D 1106. Hey Doc, how you doing, Big D? Good to see you, Luke. That's actually pretty cool to see those date stamps. So it's a lot of date stamps, Luke. I don't mind that. That's a lot. Damn, that's so much stamps. Yeah, someone went crazy with that little machine, Pappy, damn, too many stamps. The Real Hyperion FF Annual 2 had a CPV. I owned it at one time. There you go. That's the one. So it is the Fantastic Four Annual 2, had the Canadian price variant as well. And there's one more. I think there's one more annual from that time period that had the Canadian price variant. It was the Fantastic Four Annual 2, Journey to Mystery Annual 1, and there's another one. I can't remember which one it is. I have a feeling it's like a Strange Tales or something like that, but I could be wrong. Mark Wild, how you doing, Mark? Is it more time consuming to press those books that have the Mark Jewelers inserts in the middle? Have you had any of those come through? And does CGC notate that on their labels? Well, not really much more time to do a Mark's Jeweler book, to be honest. It's about the same time. And they should indicate that it's a Mark Jewelers comic book. They should. You have the opportunity to let them know that it is a Mark Jewelers insert when you're sending the books to CGC, just to remind them, because sometimes they do forget. I remember one time I sent a whole batch of Canadian variants and I indicated Canadian variant, Canadian variant, Canadian variant, and they didn't mark any of them as Canadian variants. And the owner was quite upset about that. He ended up sending them all back and they redid them all for free because they forgot. So yeah, as long as they see it and the person slabbing the book sees it and puts it on the label, then we're all good. But I guess they could forget, and that is something that you want. That is something you certainly want to indicate, because it does increase the value. Sam G is here. Mr. Polidano, what's good or what's up? Hey, Sam, how's it going? See you tomorrow. Big D1106, smash it. Yeah, please, guys, hit that like button. Only 13 likes, 25 you guys in here. Eric Williams, so many different variant back in the day. I just learned about Harvey 15-cent variants today. Love learning about the hobby and all aspects of it. There's so much to learn. There's so much to know. It's crazy because you wouldn't think there'd be any price variants back in the 60s, but there actually were. And remember, one of the biggest price variants from the 60s, which no one's really talking about, there's not a lot of action, are those great British, the Pence books. You can get an Amazing Fantasy with a pence on it, not a 10-cent but a pence. And so, DC Comics from that period actually had the cents put on it. Like I had a Brave and the Bold, or I've seen a couple of Brave and the Bold 27s where it had the actual stamp of the price of the book. I think it's at 12 cents for Brave and the Bold, or 10 cents Brave and the Bold 27, I forget. But right beside it had a 12 pence stamp on it. The Marvel books were actually changed over, and it was actually a pence. But those books, for some reason, are not garnering the same money, or not even more money, than the American counterparts. But they were printed the exact same place. I don't know. But that's another big variant that I wouldn't be surprised over the next few years if they start taking off too. Eric Williams, so many different variants back. Okay, sorry, Jordan Rowland, Mr. Polidano, you're an inspiration. Okay, thank you, Jordan. Sam, I love watching you live, Mr. Polidano. Can't wait to finish Blade Runner tomorrow. Yes, me too, because it's actually a good movie. RP, the Journey to Mystery Annual 1 I submitted to you in December has the white cover. RP, I believe it did too. Sometimes people don't even realize they have the Canadian variant. They hand it and go, let's have a look. I pull it out and I go, look. And they go, what? I go, it's a Canadian variant. So it's pretty neat. Luke, I've seen Hulk 181s with the label indicating Mark's Jeweler. Yo, yeah, I have too. But could they forget it? Could they forget that there is actually... Could they forget to indicate that on the label? Yes, it could potentially happen. So you don't want that to happen, because once it's in the slab, how do you know, right? Todd Boyce, had CGC indicate one CPV and missed another. Graded the same day. Exactly, Todd. Thanks for pointing that out. So Todd's saying he had a Canadian price variant, 2 of them no less. One came back with the indication that it was, the notation, and the other one didn't. Same grader probably. What the heck's going on with that? Anyways, let's go back and see what other books James has here. And again, to clarify, James submitted these books. I think it was mid to late August. And it was one of those things, like when I tell people, just put your submission form in and have it. Even if you don't get the books to me right away, just have your submission form there, because then once you're ready to give me your books, you give me the books. If your books are dated at a point in history where I'm currently working on, or before then your books go to the front of the line, because they've been waiting that long, right? So James did just that. Okay, let's keep going here. We have an X-Men. Oh, let me go to the big screen here. So you guys, I'll come back to the chat in a second, but let's go back here. X-Men 221, first appearance of Mr. Sinister. Again, lots of talk about this character as well, appearing in the MCU at some point. Strange Tales, number 159. Captain America and what's his name there? Nick Fury. James has some Batman books here, some Detective Comics, number 395. Gorgeous book, gorgeous covers. Another one here, Detective Comics 408, very popular cover, where Robin's face is like, melting off. He's rotting away in front of Batman. That's not very nice. It's kind of like a nightmare, isn't it? Then we have Joker is Wild in Batman 366. And Batman 404. The Frank Miller Batman series from the 80s, which was quite popular. Then we have Todd McFarlane's first artwork in a DC book, or I think professional, probably in a DC book on Batman and Batman 423. You can tell it's Todd McFarlane, can't you? I certainly can. Let's go back here. I'll put that over here. They all just shifted again. 1 second. Got that one already. We've got Avengers 196 and the first appearance of Taskmaster. Oh, Taskmaster, what did they do to you? What did they do to this character, in that Black Widow movie? It was terrible. That was probably one of the more disappointing villains that they brought about. What a disappointment that was. Green Lantern number, what do we got here? Number 7. It's got a bit of a spine roll. I'll zoom in a second and show you. So have a look there, guys. Notice the spine roll along the edge there. So what I'll do with this one is I'll straighten that baby out. It won't look quite so rolled. It'll look a lot better when I'm done with that. Oh, I'm jealous of you, James, on this one. I had this book. I got rid of this book. And I want this book, and now, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get it for a while. We got a Green Lantern 59 with Guy Gardner as Green Lantern. Oh, sort of focus there. Let's go there. There we go. Green Lantern with Guy Gardner. Definitely a character we're going to see. Him and Jim Stewart for sure. Captain America 100. The big premiere issue. And then we also have the Iron Man number 1. That's a nice copy of Iron Man number 1 as well. Also, the big premiere issue. I've got one of these coming back for Chris. Chris sent one of these into CGC to get signed. It was a 9.0, already graded 9.0. We sent it in to get someone to sign it. And guess who's signing it? Robert Downey Jr. is going to be signing. I'll be doing that on an unboxing. I don't know when. It's not done yet, but I look forward to seeing that book. That's going to be pretty crazy. It was about $1,000 to have Canadian to have Robert Downey Jr. sign that book. You know, I see a lot of people complaining about that. I'm not paying that kind of money to have Robert Downey Jr. sign my book. Heck with that. It's too expensive. You know, I agree. It's kind of, but the one thing you got to remember is that Robert Downey Jr., all proceeds are going to charity. Not one penny is he taking for himself. So I kind of think, you know what the heck? If he's going to do it, if those guys really want his signature, they're going to pay for it. And every penny's going to charity. He's not pocketing any of it. All right, so now we're going to go to some crime books here. We got crime super stories. You're going to like these guys. You don't see too many of these too often. Number 8, especially in this condition. These books often come in very ratty condition. Here's another one here. Shock Super Stories number 13. Look at that cover, man. That's awesome. Falling off of or being pushed off a roller coaster. Never mind falling off a roller coaster. We've got the Fabulous Freak Brothers. Is there a number on here? I don't see a number anywhere, so I'm just going to show it to you. There you go. Oops. The Fabulous Freak Brothers. And then another Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers here. Right there. All right, then we have some magazines, and let's see what we got here. Okay, well, these are some pretty cool magazines here, guys. This one here, a lot of people don't realize that characters like Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon didn't get their first appearance in a comic book, but rather in a magazine. Marvel Preview presents Star-Lord is the first appearance of Star-Lord, the character that we now is made popular by Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy. This is his first appearance right here in a magazine. And this one's actually in pretty nice shape. Yeah, so that's his first appearance. And then Rocket Raccoon. A lot of people think, oh, Rocket Raccoon, Hulk 271, is it? I think it is. Actually, no. That is his first appearance in comic book form. But Rocket Raccoon's very first appearance is actually right here, and it's in Marvel Preview Presents Satana number 7. Now this one's a really pretty book. Wow. I have a nice copy of this too. Mine has a big, dog ear right here, but this is a really nice sample of the book. So this is the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon. Again, not in a comic book, but rather a magazine. All right, next we have, this is a nice book too. Savage Tales, Conan the Barbarian and Savage Tales. I just did one of these a few months back for Peter out of Oshawa, and it came back a 9.6, I believe. Gorgeous copy. This one's not too bad either. And then last but not least, we've got, last one, we have another magazine, Marvel Preview Presents The Punisher, right here. Now, these magazines were a little bit more adult than the comic books, right? So a character like the Punisher, who got his first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man 129, we then saw him in these magazines, wreaking havoc. And here you can see him blowing people, bullets flying right through some of these guys, You wouldn't see that in your, regular comic book. You wouldn't see the characters, blowing, actually people being shot. So Marvel tend to get away with more violent, more adult-themed comic stories in these magazines. Hence, you see the Punisher show up here. So there you go, guys. That was most of James's submission. There was a couple more here and there that I kind of glanced over, but essentially that's it. And that's going to take me a bit of time. So again, just plugging away. Again, small orders. I'm not doing any tiny orders this week, but the small orders, like I'm talking 5 books and less, 7 books and less, I'm kind of around the October mark, These big orders like this, orders of more than 10 books, I'm still like, this one's from August, mid-August, I think it is, late August, something like that. But this came in kind of, and I pulled it back out. So in terms of, actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Here's that binder I always talk about. I can tell you who's coming up if you want to know. So these are Jim's books here. Lee's books are coming up very quick. I'm not going to mention last names, as you know. I'll do the next like 5 or 6. Lee's books are coming up. Joseph from Milton's books are coming up. Ben from North Bay, your books are coming up. Pete from Oshawa. Some more DC goodness, your books are coming up. Patrick B from Upper Sackville, Nova Scotia. Those are coming up too. Jason H, your books are coming. Andy Barber. Oh, I don't like to mention the last name. Sorry, Andy, if you're watching. Andy's books are coming up as well. Nelson, now all of these are around the same time period. Wayne, where are yours? Oh, there they are, right there. Actually, yours will come up before a lot of these guys. Wayne, your books were September the 8th, and a lot of the ones I just mentioned are like late September. So, Wayne, your books are actually coming up in the next, around the same time as Peter. So yeah, you're coming up too. And that's almost all of September. And then October starts with a huge order from Brad and Pete. Just going one by one, guys. Again, in September, what was happening, I was getting lots of submissions, sent in. Again, I was getting lots of orders coming the same day. It's happening again now. I'm finding every single day I am getting at least as little as 5 or 6 emails a day, but as many as 10 or 15 some days, answering questions, taking in submission forms. There's no end in sight here, guys, it seems. Everyone's saying the hobby is going to implode and that the prices are going to drop. I can't speak to that because I myself am not seeing a slowdown. It's constant. It's absolutely constant. So let's go back to the chat and see what you guys are saying, and then I'll let you guys go because you know what? It's Wednesday night, and I wouldn't mind hitting the sack at a good time today. Let's get my chat window back up and see what you guys are saying. I see who else is here. Davey Clare is here. M. Jeweler can be seen from the top. Yeah, I guess you could. See it. But you don't want to see it from the top when it's inside of a slab. You want it indicated, right? You want to see it indicated on the slab itself, on the actual label. Luke says, I think the books are thicker with the Mark Jeweler and the top colors of the ad. Yeah, they are thicker. And of course, if you look at the book, you're going to see it. But still, you want it indicated. Same with the Canadian price variant. It's a Canadian price variant, but guys still want it to say Canadian price variant, right? Oh, hell no, on an actor signing a... Davey, you're not the only one. Oh, hell no, on an actor signing a Bronze Age book. Okay, all right, guys. Before you don't go anywhere, I'm gonna do a poll right now. I have to do a poll. This is an important. This is a good poll. Let's go back and do it right now. Would you let... Whoops, I'll take my caps off. Would you let Robert Downey Jr. sign a Tales of Suspense 39 or Iron Man 1? Whoops, 1. Let's see here. And there you go. You tell me, would you let Robert Downey Jr. sign a copy of Tales of Suspense 39, the first appearance of Iron Man, or, like you saw here, an Iron Man #1? Would you? Let me know. Let us know. Answer that right now and let us know, because I want to know too. Because I don't know if I would or not, to be honest. I don't know if I would or not. I think I would. Oh, split down the middle. I'll keep that up for a few minutes. Please answer that and let me know what you think. Wow. Oh. 11 votes are in. If you haven't voted yet, go and vote, guys. Let's get there's 24 of you in there. What would you do? Would you, if you had a nice copy, and by the way, the copy of Iron Man #1 that I shipped down to CGC was a 9.0. It was a 9.0 already. So, you know what? I've said this before, guys. You send that down to CGC, there's a chance that book could drop from a 9 to an 8.5, you know, with Robert Downey handling it or his people handling it, whatever. How many people have voted now? Let's see. 15 votes so far. 53% say yes. It's almost split down the middle. And 47% of you were saying, no way, Jose. I'll keep that up for a little bit longer. That's kind of cool. I'll come back to that in just a few moments. Potishan's here. How you doing, Brad? Original Mark Jewelers were thicker and cardstock for about 4 to 5 years, then went to shiny paper with multiple color inserts. That's correct. Patty's Project says, I really want David Letterman's sig on my Avengers Meet David Letterman, also signed by Stan Lee at Fan Expo in 2012. I'd send that to Slab for my PC. Patty, how do you get that done? Does David Letterman, of course, that's a great one to get done, but does David Letterman do signings? I don't know. And this is kind of cool information. If you guys want a celebrity who doesn't usually show up at conventions or what have you, someone who doesn't tend to do a lot of those signings, what you can do is look up a place called Desert Wind Comics. Desert Wind Comics, and they're out of Las Vegas, and they specialize in finding those signatures. They're obviously CGC Signature Series authorized, so you can send them your books. And I had a friend send them several books, and they'll hang on to the books for months and months and months until an opportunity comes for whoever it is you want to sign the book, to sign the book. But I would contact them first, obviously, and say, hey, is there ever a chance for David Letterman to sign this book? They will tell you straight up if that's possible or not. And if it is, then send your book to Desert Wind, leave it with them. And when they have the chance to have David Letterman sign it, he'll sign it. And it'll be a pretty unique collectible, I would think. My friend Ben had Chuck Norris sign his Chuck Norris #1, obviously the Marvel Comics Star comic book. Norris does go to conventions from time to time, but not around here. And so they held on to it for a few months, and sure enough, they got him his signature, which is kind of cool. All right, let's go back to the chat and see what's going on. So 20 of you voted. And so far, 21 of you. So now it's 62% saying, no way would I have anybody, even Robert Downey Jr., sign that book. James is here from New Mexico. How you doing, James? Potishan says, good luck getting those magazines back anytime soon. Yeah, the one way to get those magazines back sooner is to pay a little more. You pay a little more, you put them into a higher tier, and they come back pretty quick. You could actually talk to my friend Luke here. He had a copy of Vampirella. He got it back pretty quickly. He paid for a little quicker tier. He had it back, I think, in under 2 months. Am I right, Luke? You can tell me you're there. Davey Clare says McFarlane's first DC cover was Infinity number 1485. Okay, I am totally wrong. Then it's his first work on Batman, then, obviously. James says, thanks for showing my books. No problem, James. Thanks for submitting such amazing books. Sam says, do you remember the first comic book you ever purchased? I do, Sam. It was a copy of Web of Spider-Man #1. Web of Spider-Man #1. And it was released, I think, in 85. And that's when I started really collecting comics. I've told the story before. I was always a fan of the comic books, and more so the cartoons that I used to watch when I was a little kid. Then my first day of high school, the kid beside me had a locker beside me. His name was Adam. He opened his locker up, and there was an image of a Spider-Man, but not with red and blue, but wearing the black and white symbiote costume. I said, what the heck is that? He goes, that's Spider-Man. And he invited me to the comic store that Friday, because back in the 80s, new comic book day was on Fridays. So that day, I took the bus downtown with him to Unicorn Comics, which is now called Worlds Collide Comics, still run by the same owner, Tim. And I walked in, and I bought probably 5 or 6 comics that day. And the first one I bought was Web of Spider-Man #1. It was probably about 7 months old at that time. It was a back issue I bought. I think I bought issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And yeah, that was my first jump into seriously collecting. And yeah, I bought a lot of comics since then, Sam. Let me tell you, I bought a lot of comics since then. Luke says, people don't gravitate towards magazines' first appearances nowadays, it seems. Well, I mean, I think it's, again, Luke, I think it's because the magazine sizes are so much bigger. And people tend to be a little OCD, right? They want to have their collection a certain way. If I have my CGC box right here, I have a box that James brought his comics in. The CGC still fit in here, but the magazines won't. It's just kind of awkward. It's kind of like those treasury editions, those huge treasury editions books, right? I used to have a couple of those, but they'd always get banged up and dinged because I had nowhere to put them. I had no box to put them in. You can't get them slabbed. They're just these large books that are really cumbersome and they're hard to store. So I just got rid of them, right? Magazines, I have a couple too. I have both of these books myself, and they're not with my other comics because they're too darn big. But yeah, Luke, I think that's why. Where are we going here? Davey Clare, McFarlane's first DC3B. Look, where am I going? Wayne, yeah, I'd like to know. You know that. 0907 and where when they said, yeah, I have them, Wayne. You're on the radar, my friend. There's probably about Wayne, about 8 people that put them in around the same time. I just do them in order, like I said. If I see somebody that I know is not in any particular rush, I might move them a week or two ahead. They won't mind. But at this point, everybody wants their darn stuff quick because they've been waiting so darn long. I don't blame them one bit. But the end is near, Wayne. I mean, with me, anyways. You know that. Prince Zodiac, hey Doc, missed a notification. Must have been a rapid fire. It was a rapid fire. And again, another tip from Neil out of Carolina. North Carolina, right? I always get them mixed up, Neil. North Carolina, or I believe it's North Carolina, or is it Virginia? No, it's North Carolina. Thank you very much again for that generous tip, $5. I certainly appreciate that, and thanks. There was no notification today, Neil. I had I finished some work up. I put the books in the press that I wanted to put in the press. The kids were all in bed, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a what's in the press right now, and I just kind of threw it on there. Glad the 25 you showed. That's pretty cool. And by the way, tomorrow I will be having an unboxing. The box that was supposed to arrive on Friday actually arrived today. I'll put a notification up for that, and that will be tomorrow. Lots of and that box that I'm opening tomorrow has lots of small orders from a lot of different people. So I think there's another one on the way back too with one big order. But anyways, it's hard to keep track sometimes. So come back tomorrow, okay, guys? And again, Neil, thanks again for that tip. Again, very generous of you. I really, really appreciate that. Sam says, so I need to get in the queue soon. Well, Sam, like I say, just put a submission form in. Even if you don't have any books ready to go, just put a submission form in, print it out, and put it away. And you don't have to actually put the comics that you're going to do. What I say is go to my submission form, type in where it says name of comic, just put comic books, and then put quantity, how many you want to say, 25, 20, 10, whatever. And what that does, it holds you a place in line. And then when the time comes when that date comes up, you come into the shop or you mail them in, and we can write it out by hand, or you can create a new one and staple the old one with the original date on there, so I know that date was your original, I guess, place in line. You know what I mean? That I'm happy to do. I'm very happy to do that. Wayne says, great work is something to be patient for, and you do great work, Kevin. Wayne, again, thanks, man. I do appreciate that. Prince Zodiac, hey Doc, missed a notification, must have been a rapid fire. I got that already. If I have a slabbed Numinous 98 that I want to press, do I bring it to you in the slab? Well, you could take it out of the slab if you want. It'll save you $10. To take the books out of the slab, I charge $10. And you know what? You don't think it takes much time, but when someone drops off 20 slabs, that's a couple of hours at least. A couple of hours of cracking. So I prefer it. I prefer not to take the books out of the slab. But if you're nervous about doing it and you want me to do it, I'm happy to do it. But I do charge $10 to crack a book out of the slab. Sam says, who wins in a fight, Batman or Iron Man? Sam, I'd say... I don't know. I think Iron Man. I think Iron Man would win realistically in that fight. But you know what? Again, I am just one man. You know what? Maybe I'll do this. I'll end. Where is it? I'm going to end that poll, and I'll do a new poll. And can I do another poll? Yeah, I can. Does Iron Man beat Batman in a fight? Here you go. Sam wants to know, will Iron Man beat Batman in a fight? Here we go, guys. There's 22 or so of you there. What do you guys think? I think Iron Man would win, but maybe you would think differently. Let's see. Ready to pop out chat again. Okay. And then Sam says, I hit yes, but it registered no. Oh, that's YouTube for you there, Sam. Prince Zodiac says, Knock, I don't know if I messed up or not when I mailed my books. I sent a copy of the invoice. Was I supposed to send a copy of the submission form I filled out online? Yeah, you send a submission form so I keep track of all your books. Some guys just send the books sometimes with nothing in the box. I'm like, no. You want to send me your submission form because, again, it helps me keep track. If you don't do that, that could be kind of hairy. But that submission form is not the number that it spits out. The total invoice price is sometimes not that accurate. I'll go back and I'll redo your invoice, right? Maybe I won't press a couple of books, right? Maybe the books are so nice I won't press them. If that's the case, I remove them off the bill. So again, the main reason I have those submission forms, the main one is to keep track of the books that come in, and two is to keep track of the books that come in. There's something else. And to know when they came in, the date in which you did the submission form, so I can put everybody in proper order. I don't want to put people ahead of others. I want everyone to go in the time in which they actually I receive the books, right? Off the top of my head, off the top of my head, James says, I would like a few actor signature. Mark Hamill Star Wars book and Christopher Reeves Superman book. Would that be nice? That'd be both very expensive right now. Prince Zodiac says, I may let him sign an Iron Man 1 if I had 2 or 3 copies, or maybe a lower grade copy, maybe like a 4 or a 5 rather than 9.0 or a 9.4. Patty's Projects. Oh man, wicked. That's great information. Thank you very much. No problem, Patty. Justin's here. Hey, Justin, nice to see you. I would let him sign anything with himself on the cover. Okay, that's fair. Kind of like David Letterman on the book that the other fellow was talking about there. Tom W. How you doing, Tom? Had to subscribe so I could say heck no. Well, I'm glad you subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. And by doing so, you've actually automatically entered yourself into some draws. Now all you got to do is leave comments in the comment section below. And that's where I actually usually pick winners from. And again, if you guys are just getting here now, as you know, Moon Knight is starting on Disney Plus on March 30th. And in celebration of that, I'm giving out 4 copies of these awesome Bill Sienkiewicz art Moon Knight books, popular copies. I'll be giving these guys out when Moon Knight drops. And I might bring out some more things too. So make sure you subscribe, like, and leave comments. But thanks for subscribing, Tom. I appreciate that. Justin says, my friend has Iron Man 3 scripts signed by Robert and Stanley. It's pretty wicked. That'd be all right. That'd be all right. Now, Luke says 3 months. It took Luke 3 months to get his magazine back. Again, it was a Vampirella. It's a higher price book, so it went to a higher tier. You can always do that to get your magazines back a little quicker. What's up, Doc? And this is Prince Zodiac's $5 tip question. I'm late, so I'll catch the beginning on replay. I'd love to get Alice Cooper's signature on my Marvel Premiere 50. Hope everyone is well. Thank you. And you know what? That's an awesome book to get done as well. And there are copies of that out there. And Alice Cooper does do signatures. And again, if you wanted to find out or perhaps get an idea as to when he might be signing again, give Desert Wind a call or send them an email. I'd probably call them and see if they can hook you up with getting an Alice Cooper signature on your Marvel Premiere 50. That'd be pretty sick. AR450, I wouldn't mind letting him sign a check for me. Me too, man. RP. RP says, so at this pace, with the new place and partner, do you feel you're processing orders faster? I've submitted my books in early December. Would you say they'd be worked on in April? RP, I hope so. Listen, it's not super fast. Again, with Charlo right off the bat. I mean, if he had the years of experience that I had and he was, well versed in everything, then yeah, we'd be going along really quickly. But I'm training him still. So this training period is going to take as long as it takes, and it's not super fast. I mean, he's getting through books. But the way it's working is, and because I'm not working with him every single day, which is something I really regret. I wish I was side by side with him, and I will be at some point, but not just yet. Probably in March and then maybe again in June. But until then, he's working on, I show him how to do the work, and then he works on the books. He puts them aside. I come in after he's gone. I review the books. Like today I was there. I reviewed the books. Out of 25 books, only 6 had to be tweaked a little bit. So that's not bad. That's a majority. If I was going in there and all 25 books had to be worked on again, that would be a bad thing. Now that happened. My first attempt at bringing somebody in was about 3 years ago. I brought someone in. I was a young individual out of art restoration school. I thought, perfect. They got the qualifications, and they just didn't get the comic thing. They just didn't get it. And they were trying to get as many books done as possible. I'd call, how many books you get done today? Oh, I got 50 books done. 50 books done. No, it's way too many books. I don't even do 50 books a day. So they were just trying to rush to get them done. That's not how you do this. It's not a race, right? So Charlo's figuring that out. But the more books he works on, the more breadth of experience he gets in different kinds of, vintages and genres of books. That's really important because the paper changes, as you know, the paper changes from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, from the 30s to, it's all different kinds of paper. And he'll start to get a real feel for what exactly can be done to the book. I can look at a book and say, yeah, I can get rid of this. Or I'll say no chance. I'm pretty confident when I say that, right? He's not quite that confident doing that yet, but he's getting there. So is it really fast yet? No, but RP, I do hope that, as the months go by, we start picking up steam and more books. But I think by April, your books should be, coming up, I would hope. Because I did stop taking books for a period of time there after September. So there's not as many submissions going into, I think, into November and December for that matter. Potash, hope that answers your question. Potash, is anything coming back soon? Yeah, like I said, we got a box out there, and I got another box on its way back. And I think I think one of your other boxes is ready. I think. Luke, walkthrough is like 10 business days for magazines. Thank you. Would Robert Downey Jr. Okay, here we go, guys. Again, so 62% you said no, you would not let Robert Downey Jr. sign your books. Prince Zodiac says, oh, Jesus, Southern Virginia, but I'm really, really close to North Carolina, about 45 minutes or so I'm not mad at that. North Carolina is a beautiful state. Yes. I bought a car I was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina many years ago, and I bought a 69 Mustang from there. I drove it all the way back. It was a lot of fun. It was quite an adventure. Stavros is here. How you doing, Stavros? I stuck a letter on the box and in the box. Thank you, Stavros. Thank you. Mike's here. Hey, Michael. Ace the Bat Dog would take Iron Man down, though, so would Alfred, perhaps even Batmite. And let's see what you guys are saying. To answer Sam's question, 19 votes. Do you think Iron Man would beat Batman? 79% think. There you go, Sam. 79% think that, yeah, he would get his Batman would get his butt kicked by Iron Man, and I would have to agree. HM says, yes, Iron Man would win. Only plot armor would make Batman win. I think that, yeah, if Batman could figure out his armor, then maybe he'd have an advantage, but otherwise, no. Sam says, Iron Man wins. He builds his own tech. Prince Zodiac, I'm giving 5-1 odds on Iron Man. Cash App, PayPal, multiple payment option. That's right. Stavros, I already read that. I don't know why it's coming up again. And that one too. Oh, Sam, your daughter, Nikki's still up. Holy jeez. Hi, Nikki. How's it going? Hope you're enjoying the show. Prince Zodiac, the box you received from me only has the invoice, not the submission form. Do you need me to mail that? The Gemini has the invoice written on it. No, as long as I can call it up. When I get open to your box, I get to them and I organize them. I'll just print. I know your invoices are on there, your submission forms. If I have any questions, I might give you a holler, if that's okay with you, Neil. Mike Lemon, Moon Knight is starting on Disney March 30th. Yes, it is. Disney Plus, a great streaming service for entertainment the whole family can enjoy. Bring some magic into your life. Get Disney Plus. Excellent. James says, speaking of Disney Plus, shows starting March 16. All the Marvel Netflix shows start on Disney. That is right, James. You're right. All the Netflix Marvel series like Daredevil and Jessica Jones are all going to be on Disney Plus. Figured they would. Alice Cooper's broke, Stavros says. Then maybe his signatures won't be that expensive. Prince Zodiac, I'll pay him first. There you go. RP sounds good. That's great. Bernardo Garcia. Hey, Doc. How you doing, Bernardo? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. TV Claire says his net worth is $50 million, so I think he's doing okay. What month are you at the moment? I think you probably heard that because I went over it a couple of times. Prince Zodiac, wonderful. Thank you. Yes, excellent. I was going to tell you guys one thing. Yeah, I was listening to a couple of podcasts today, and I heard some interesting news about the multiverse of madness. I am not going to say what I heard. I did some more digging, and the individual giving that information I wouldn't elaborate, but gave me one little tidbit. And yeah, man, it's gonna be I think that movie's gonna be absolutely bonkers and a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that multiverse of madness. And by the way, did you guys buy your Batman tickets yet? Because if you haven't, you might want to. Out here in Oshawa, in the Whitby area, I purchased our Batman tickets for opening night, not the preview. There's a preview night where they're showing it on the Wednesday night in IMAX. I didn't bother with that. We're going on the Thursday, yeah, the theater was starting to get pretty full. So make sure, just a reminder, if you haven't done so yet, get onto your favorite app of choice to buy your movie tickets and get your Batman tickets, because if you wait to the week of, you ain't going to see it that week. It's going to be very similar to, I think, Spider-Man No Way Home. My friends, that's it for me. It is almost 11 o'clock. I want to go chill out and just watch a little bit of TV before bed. I want to say thank you for coming out today and watching this What's in the Press episode. Hope you enjoyed seeing some of these awesome books that James had to share, because you know what? There's quite a variety in here today. That was a lot of fun. Remember to come back tomorrow. I will post sometime, maybe tonight or tomorrow, when I'm going to have my next live CGC unboxing. It will be tomorrow, probably around 6:30. Probably. It may get bumped into late as well, but it will be at some point tomorrow. Anyways, guys, I'll probably actually post that tomorrow at around 4 o'clock. You'll know at the time. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Again, if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, leave comments. And until next time, have a good night. Bye for now.